Hi, my name is Melody. As usual, it's been a while. I have a new sound effect. Sounds like we're talking on the phone. Because that's what I do now. I talk on the phone. Lots has changed over the last little while. Where does one start to unpack? The corporate trauma we've all been through. I don't know. So I just have been quiet. Quietly unpacking, quietly contemplating, quietly trying to figure out what in the motherfuck is going on right now. Welcome to my podcast. A cringy, self-centered collection of thoughts by just another try-hard hipster millennial.
Why, hello, it's your local try-hard hipster millennial Melody. And to be on brand with that, I get to open my podcast with a trigger warning. Yay! We're going to be talking, not talking about, but I will mention thoughts of suicide, racism, sexism, homophobia, all of those in my podcast. And usually I'll put a trigger warning, but just as a general note, those are really common things in a podcast about mental health. And those are really common themes that occur in my life. So, you know, if those are hard to hear, yeah, I know. I'm with ya. But I don't censor them here because it's my entire life. So I have changed my podcast name. Not that it's gonna do much, but I was feeling that the title I'm Okay doesn't really fit the bill of my life or the world, you know? Because nothing about anything is okay at all for a second. And I didn't know, I still don't know how I feel about calling my podcast Everything is Fucked all the time. So the alternative I came up with pretty quickly with not much thought is just, I'm here. Because that's kind of all I've been able to muster recently is to be present. Yeah. So that's the name of the podcast because, like, I was never okay. And that was the word I used to just get people to go away. And now I'm not hiding anymore to make people feel comfortable. All I can say is that, yeah, I'm here. That's accurate. But I'm not going to lie and say I'm okay. Because if you actually want to know, I'll just tell you. Some days, a lot of days, everything is fucked. But if I'm going to censor myself, I can just say, well, I'm here. So we'll talk about like different aspects of what it looks like to be here. Because that's kind of all we can do. When shit hits the fan. But you know what I found recently is that shit didn't just hit the fan, guys, girls, they, thems, everybody's. Shit didn't just hit the fan. Like the fan got tossed down the outhouse and it's stuck there. And then a heat wave came and like we just have a really, really smelly outhouse and no fan. So that's where we're at, folks. No more shit hitting the fan. Just no fan. So much shit. So much. Just the whole place is made of shit, really. So, while that was happening in my life, feeling like the whole thing was built on a foundation of shit, kind of like a mushroom, I decided to give myself permission to stop the podcast series on rebuilding your dreams because I had an exploding outhouse of garbage to tend to. And I needed to focus on not killing myself. So, and apparently that has been since September. Isn't that neat? Isn't that neat that when you start to get out of a rut, you look back and realize, holy fuck, I was in that rut for like a long ass time. And I have quite a lot of resilience. Like, damn, that's, wow. Wow. Yeah, and over that period of time, being here, being present, was all I could muster. I could not think about my dreams. I could not think forward. I could not record a podcast. Well, I tried recording a podcast 6 times, but it did not come together because I don't even need to give a reason because it was whatever. It just wasn't happening. Isn't that, doesn't that like encompass what has been happening to us over this past little pepperoni time? That you like trying to get out of bed like fucking 6 times and it just doesn't work. You try and apply for different jobs 6 different times and it doesn't work. You try to lose weight 6 different times and it doesn't work. Whatever, it just doesn't. And I gave myself permission to be like, I don't actually owe anybody a podcast. I'm doing this for myself right now. It's not my vibe. It's not happening. So it's just not gonna happen. And that's okay. And you can give yourself permission to just like whatever thing is nagging you and you have bigger fish to fry. That's fine. You can let things go on the back burner. Here's your official permission slip to do that. To take care of yourself and to procrastinate something that, like, the world's gonna go on and you're gonna go on and it's okay. To productively procrastinate something because you need to do other shit. You need to take care of yourself. So that's something, like, I'm always a planner. I'm always a dreamer. Like, what am I going to do next? Like, what's my 5-year plan? But over this last little while, that hasn't happened. I've been in pure survival mode where I need to think day by day, sometimes hour by hour, minute by minute. Okay, what am I going to do literally right now just to make it through this hellish moment? And that is just, now I'm doing like a little bit better enough to record a podcast at least. But that principle has stayed with me. Like, people ask me, what's your plan for the year? What do you want to do for summer? And I'm like, bitch, who? Who, what? Year? Summer? I don't even know what I'm doing tomorrow. I don't know. I don't fucking know. I just know that I'm here. And since we're living right now, it's like, might as well be here. You may be asking, Melody, what the fuck happened? What the fuck happened between September and now? Well, I'll tell you. I'll tell you in brief. A middle-aged white Christian man happened. He was aggressively and brutally racist and horribly re-traumatizing. That sent my very low mental health into an even lower spiral that brought up so much trauma from my Christian little churchy days and so much racism from when I was in church. Great, super awesome. Don't even need to go into detail about that because fuck him. And after that, like a month later, I got sexually assaulted 3 times in 30 days by 3 strangers. All of them were unrelated. They were 3 different races, 2 different genders. One happened at my doorstep by a stalker. The other one happened at the fucking grocery store. Those are, your house and the grocery store are kind of like those are your 2 assumed safe places and fundamental needed places that you frequent. You frequent the grocery store and you frequent your house. They're kind of unavoidable places that you go to. So, that led me to think logically that nowhere is safe. Nobody is safe. And why would I want to live in such a world where the 3 most common races in my town have all assaulted me? 2 of the most common genders have assaulted me. Different ages. The most common locations that I frequent are no longer safe. Pretty great circumstance, hey? No. I have no explanation as to why this happened. Our explanation is that human beings are disgusting. Yeah. Well, let's just sit in that for a second. That human beings are disgusting. And that was probably a lot for you to hear, fellow listener. And I don't want you to take that burden on. That was not meant to be traumatizing to you, but simply so you know what has been going on with me. I'm healing. I'm going to counseling. Please don't worry about me. I'm going to tell you what has come out of these things. Yeah. And any emotions that you're currently feeling because of that are all valid. Once again, don't carry any emotions or burdens for me. I'm strong and I'm okay. Let me tell you what came out of that and out of this time. I discovered that I have been living my life in a freeze state or a flight state of conflict. That this is a pattern in my family and that we want to avoid conflict, or when conflict happens, we just freeze up. And this was a pattern during these sexual assaults. That was my survival mode. And I've also looking back on other conflicts in my life, and past abuse, that this was my coping mechanism. And I can be thankful for those because they, in some circumstances, have kept me safe or reduced harm in certain circumstances. But after processing what happened, I feel like my whole personality has shifted gears into fight mode. Like I am now present in this moment and I'm alert and aware of potential dangers, and I won't back down from conflict and from people who are threats to me. I mean, obviously within reason, like I will flee and freeze if that is the best course of action. But I'm not scared silly anymore. And I have this like, don't fuck with me, dagger eyes attitude now. And I can already tell that has kept me safe on a couple occasions because I've gone back to the grocery store and the same creepy white guys look at me in the same way, and I just like throw these don't fuck with me dagger eyes, what the fuck are you looking at? And then they keep to themselves. But before I was so like, oh, I have to be nice. Being nice is my highest ethic, being kind. And now I'm like, no, 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 no. We are not kind to rapists. I have permission to say fuck off to predators. And yeah, there were predators that were looking. They were seeing that I was in a really low mental state. It was all over my face. And they preyed on me and they got me. And now I don't give off maybe some of that energy, but it's all like, don't fuck with me energy. And I feel so much more empowered. This podcast is not a self-defense class. This podcast is not a how to not get raped class, because people are disgusting no matter what. And no matter, like, assaults happen no matter what you do. So I never want to victim blame. Like, it didn't matter what I did or what I didn't do. It's because I could have been assaulted no matter what. What has changed for me, though, is that I was living my life in constant fear and, like, wanting to please these predators and, like, wanting to make them happy and being worried that they wouldn't like me or that there would be conflict. And now I am like, I don't give a fuck what strangers think of me. My highest priority is my safety. And I give off this don't fuck with me energy. And I think it's keeping me a little bit safer than before. It's not a guarantee, but I think it's a step forward. If that makes sense. Too bad I don't have your feedback. I'm like, yeah, girl, that makes sense. Or like, no, that's bullshit. I hate what you're saying. It's like the least trauma-informed thing you can ever say. So, let me know. So that's one thing about, like, being present, is I'm no longer, like, in flight mode, like, always trying to run away from conflict, but I feel like I'm more present in my body and present in wherever I'm going and, like, alert. And through these assaults, I have learned, like, what I need in a crisis. And that is, again, for people to just show up for me. So this could be helpful for people listening who they are not necessarily going through a crisis, but somebody else, like, who is going through a really hard time. And you're thinking, I have no idea what to do for my blank friend, family member, partner, whatever, who is going through a really hard time. I'll tell you, when I was in my darkest, worst moment, what I needed was for people to show up for me. And that meant physically. I needed you to physically be there for me. And I needed you to come to my house or to call me and just be with me. And you didn't need the right words to say. You didn't need to say anything. I just needed company because I was so scared. I was so, like, shocked and lonely and suicidal. I just needed somebody there. While the most impactful moment was my best friend coming over, and I believe she cooked for me, and then, because I couldn't cook for myself, and then I needed to nap. And so she just hung out on my couch. She read a book while I napped, and then I woke up and she was still there. And then, like, she was just there. And that meant the world. Just people showing up. And that is also what I have tried to do to my friends or family members who are going through a hard time, is you don't know what to do? Well, you just show up, and don't be needy or needing entertainment. Just show up, chill, loving, ready to do whatever. Yeah, be present. Another thing about being here is this current space that I am inhabiting and establishing in this podcast and in my life is a space that is queer, a space that is dedicated to decolonizing North America, a space dedicated to anti-racism, environmentalism, and loving animals. That is the space that I am creating and I am owning, finally. I did not own my queer identity or my queer space for 24 years. And it is the biggest breath of fresh air to finally own my queer space. And I didn't because I knew that I was out of the closet. I've been out of the closet for years, but I didn't own, like, so you come out of the closet and then you come into a room. And that is your new queer space. But I did not make myself at home in this new queer space because I knew it made other people uncomfortable. So I came out of the closet, but I tried to act as straight and normal as I could and blend in with everybody else. And because I live in such a fucking Christian town. And I don't like upsetting people. I like being friends with as many people as I can and making all the fucking boomers as proud of me as I can, all the church people as proud of me as I can. And so that meant I needed to be quiet about my sexuality. Well, that overflowed into me just being quiet about who I am and being a pushover and letting people walk all over me. And then that just kept progressing and progressing and progressing. And I believe that contributed to these sexual assaults of just this years and years and years of letting people, just pleasing people and putting myself, my true self aside and my identity aside, to please other people. And so I meet these nasty predators and I don't want to make them upset. I want them to like me and to be proud of me. And then they just take advantage of that and do whatever because I want to be kind and ethical and it took me getting assaulted 3 times in a row to be like, this is absolute bullshit. It doesn't matter what people think of me. I need to fully own my queer space and I need to build fences around this queer space because it is delicate and it is special and there are so many people out there that are so hateful and want to destroy it. So I decided, okay, I have spent 24 years just appeasing people and letting them have their homophobic opinions, and I'm done. I'm done with you. Why do I need you in my life when all you're doing is piling on shame into my life? Like, no, thank you. So that's what I did. I set really strong boundaries. And y'all, I don't regret it for a second. It feels so good. You guys, it feels so good to kick the homophobes out of your life. Wow, it feels good. It feels good. People have their own journey. They have their own journey they need to go on to realize common sense, to come to common sense. Because they are so far out in the la la land pond that they don't see beautiful love for beautiful love. Just leave them. Leave them out there stranded in the pond. And we're going to keep having our fucking amazing gay ass party. Yeah. So I've been shaking my gay ass, making a stink so they get out of my way. And oh, it is good. It is good. So this is the space of my life and of this podcast. And you're welcome here. Cute. So, another thing about, while we're all here in this beautiful, amazing queer space, you know what's also great about it? Is that we're not over there. We're not out in the pond. We're not wearing the MAGA hats. You know what I mean? Like, we're here. And the less we pay attention to them over there, the less power that they have. Because they get power from us, whining and complaining and making a stink about them. So if we just turn around and mind our own business, that will drive them crazy. But they'll lose power. And if we just keep, living our lives, loving each other, showing the world that this life is a good life, more people will be coming around. Because guys, girls, people, this is love and love is going to win. So people are going to keep coming around. So just turn around. Don't give them your attention. This thought of just stop giving the haters your time of day came out of a question I asked in counseling that goes like this. How does a justice-oriented person find peace when the traumatizer appears to keep winning? And the answer to that question I found comes in a couple parts. So the first part is, how does a justice-oriented person find peace? And realizing that peace is an inside job. That you find peace regardless of what is going on. That because shit is always gonna hit the fan, and your fan is eventually gonna get thrown down the outhouse. So if we can find peace regardless of what is happening, then you, sir, madam, they, them, have found a life hack. Meditation has helped me immensely find peace regardless of my fan being down the outhouse. Meditation helps me be present in the moment and take in and feel the pain and then like pay attention to the pain, and then not feel the pain but not be suffering while I'm feeling the pain. Pain does not have to equal suffering. I have found through meditation. But like a lot of the time, pain equals suffering. So meditation has helped me find peace. Another thing is, how does a justice-oriented person find peace? Is to check your job description, like your metaphorical job description. Because for me, so when I was a kid, teen, I was in like lots of leadership things. So we went to like lots of conferences, and I took the words, "You can change the world," way, way, way too seriously. Like they really drilled that into you for some reason, that like your dreams can come true and you can change the world. And so I was like, "Oh, me? Like just me. Just me by myself. I can change the world." And then I kept learning about how fucked up the world is. Like basically every single aspect of the world is fucked up. And but then that narrative of I can change the world. So then I got so, and I'm still so overwhelmed because I'm like, okay, so I can fix, they tell me that I can fix all of these problems, but then they keep telling me more and more and more problems. And there's 24 hours in a day, and I am doing my master's in Indigenous studies because that is the most important thing I could be studying. And I am working full time at a recovery center. And then I also work part time as a respite worker with people with with people with disabilities because I want to dismantle ableism, and I want to become a tattoo artist because I want to specialize in grief and trauma tattoos so people can memorialize and come to terms with grief. And my thesis is in religious trauma so people can heal from all the like religious manipulation and trauma. And I try to live like I shop at the like local grocery stores that not white people shop at, and take care of the environment and drive a fuel efficient car and shop secondhand or ethical clothing, and the list goes on and on and on. And then you go onto social media and then all they tell you is that you are not doing enough. It is all your fault, madam, sir, madam, white lady, that the world is burning. So I go, absolutely, yes, it is all of my fault. And this is why I, every other day, have a mental breakdown, because I believe that the world is, it's all my fault that it's like this. And I'm spending 800 billion hours a day trying to fix it all on my own. Hello, anxiety in this world. So, how does a justice oriented person find peace? Is that I need to check my job description, because that idea that you can change the world, I need to cool it a little bit. That actually no single person has actually solved all of the world's problems in their lifetime. And that that's not really what they meant when they said, you can change the world. And that was some poor communication on their part. So I gotta cool it. And I also deleted Instagram. But I gotta cool it. And what do I have to do instead? I gotta be here. I show up for the people in my life. I need to show up for myself. And yes, I live ethically, but this burden, this idea that you need to fix all of the world's problems right now or in your lifetime is not true. You show up for what you can. You show up for yourself. And you try your best to do no harm. And when you do harm, because we all do, you apologize. You apologize properly. That is my job description. Not to save the entire world of every ethical dilemma on my own in my lifetime. It sounds so obvious, but for some of us, it's not. The final point about when the traumatizer keeps winning. That's kind of what I was saying before, is that the traumatizer gets some of their power from the attention we give them. Not all of their power. Some of their power comes from just like inherent privilege and blah, 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 blah. But we can take away some of their power by simply disengaging with them, by letting go. And don't, in my recommendation, I wouldn't don't be nagging other people online to also let them go, because you're still talking about them. They still have a hold on you then. Just actually let them go. Actually disengage. Be free. This is something I am trying, failing, but trying to do with church. That I am trying to disengage, because when I drive by a billboard, I just fucking yell. I hate the shit that they put on there. I could launch into a rant right now. But like the hatred that I have towards the church, and the rants that I have, give them power. So if I fully disengaged, was totally apathetic, that would remove all the power they have over my life. Totally let go. So, in the spirit of being here and letting go, how do you feel? And just me loving meditation, how do we feel about let's end this podcast with a little letting go exercise. Wow. I'll put on some calm music and I'll lead you through a quick little letting go exercise. Start by taking a deep breath in for 1, 2, 3, 4. Then out for 1, 2, 3, and 4. What is it you want to let go of today? Picture it forming in your hands. color, temperature? What does it smell like? Where have you felt this carry in your body? Feel it transferring to your hands. Is there anything you'd like to say to it before you let it go? You can thank this burden for what it has served you. But for now, we release it into the air, taking a deep breath and releasing all the burdens that you've been carrying along with it.